Hello, this is Fredrik Vermling again. In this video, we're going to talk about using ChatGPT to help us make gene set enrichment using this fancy term vibe coding, as is popular nowadays. And the type of data set we want to generate is these type of enrichment plots that you'll see from gene set enrichment. And what these are doing is that instead of, as we've done in all the other videos in this series, looked at only the top genes or the bottom genes, we're going to look at all genes and essentially see how they rank up from highest to lowest, for example. I think they're doing here. So here you see 0. These are genes then ranked up based on their screen data. And of course that depends on which samples you compare to each other. And what the gene set enrichment does then is to look at different gene sets and see if they are skewed in somehow, like you see here. Here you see a highly significant skew of the genes. So in this G2M checkpoint hallmark gene set, there are roughly 200 genes, I think. And if they would sort of randomly, if they would not have an effect on what we're studying here, they would more randomly be spread out if you rank them. Remove myself. While what we see here is that there is actually bias, so many of them are actually seen at the end here, which is also then sort of involving this enrichment score here. So ES and then NES is normalized enrichment score, related to the number of genes in that gene set. So here you see something that's skewed in a way that is not random, so we get a significant p-value here. I'm gonna do this using R, and I know this in this series I said that you don't need to do any coding, and I'm gonna show you how you could use then ChatGPT for helping you with this. I've written a prompt here, and I'm also, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna give the data to ChatGPT so you can look at it and sort of understand how it's built up. And what I'm asking is, help me make a GSEA analysis of this CRISPR screen data attached. The file is located here on my computer, so this is where it is located, because of course in your script you need to tell R where it could be found. I want to use RStudio. So RStudio is it's a simplified version of R, I guess, or it's a little bit more intuitive if you're not very used to these sort of things. But you can of course also use Python or other languages if they are relevant for you, and you can just ask ChatGPT to help you with that, of course, and extract the data of a hallmark gene set. So hallmark gene sets, there's a lot of different gene sets out there, but the hallmark ones are, I think there are 50 of them or so that have been defined as these are the most relevant ones. And that is of course a matter of opinion, but they're very well validated, I assume. So it could be a good starting point to look at the hallmark gene sets, and then you can ask, and again you just ask ChatGPT then, okay, now I want to look at more gene sets, what do you have for me, basically. And then I say a little bit about, as output I want representation of significant hallmarks as well as enrichment plots. Enrichment plots is what I just showed you, right, for the individual significant hallmarks, and I want this as a PDF, as well as leading edge info with gene name and series log fold change info. So this leading edge is essentially that it's defining which genes that are skewed. So which are these skewed genes essentially that makes this your data set linked to this gene set. And always write the full script. Save the files in a folder where the screen data file is found. So here then. The more experienced you are, you don't need to ask it to write the full script. You can ask it to write sort of snippet of code, and then you need yourself to sort of be understanding what you should do. So I usually do like this. I think it's easier, but it takes longer time, of course. Now these things are probably going to take a couple of minutes, but I will be using video editing tricks so that you don't have to wait. But I press here and it will likely take a couple of minutes. So I'll be back when it's done. Okay, so then it's done here. So let's see what it did. So it says what it's going to do here. It's running this FGSEA. So this is fast GSEA. That's an R script, as far as I know. And then it's making this full script, and it's just for pasting essentially. And if you're not used to these, you don't necessarily need to pay attention. But I think it could be good to look a little bit into these things to see what's happening. So it's starting usually by installing some packages, and then it's here you see where the file is, some significance, and then it start going through how to use these different R packages, as you see here. And it took roughly 2-3 minutes to get this. So you just copy it, and then we go to RStudio, and I'm not going to go through RStudio how you get it or how you work with it. Just ask ChatGPT. you will need RStudio, you will need R downloaded. But then what you can do here is just paste the whole thing. And I think this script now is going to work because I've been testing it out and ChatGPT remembers what I want. But I want to make sure that we get an error message here, because that is what will happen, and this is sort of part of the vibe coding setup. So I'm gonna remove some stuff here just to make sure that the script is not correct. And then I'm just going to press enter. And again, this will take a bit of time, so I will let the video go, and then I'm going to edit. Okay, so now it's done. It took maybe 2 minutes. You will see that it runs through the script then one by one here. It gives you warnings. They're not necessarily a problem, but error is a problem, right, as you see down here. So, and this is typically what will happen. You ask ChatGPT or other chatbots, LLMs, to do something, and there will be errors. So what you could do, if you're not skilled enough or understand what's going on, you can just copy this. We go back to ChatGPT, and then we paste it. And now again, this will take a couple of minutes, but we're essentially just asking it to rewrite the script. And here I could say that the more experienced you are, you can ask ChatGPT to not write out the full script, because the full script takes 2-3 minutes for it to write. And then you'll see it's a pretty long one, and it's doing like this. If you're more experienced, you can ask it to just change the things that are contributing to the error. And then, of course, it's much faster. But then you need to find how to change the script or the code. Okay, so now it's done. And again, now hopefully it's fixed it. I can tell you that oftentimes when there is an error in the script, you need to do this in several rounds. What I usually do is to add several spaces here, so separate the two scripts. I paste it in. And again, we just have to wait here to see how long it takes and if it works. All right, so now it worked out. No errors came up. It's telling us where things are saved in different ways. So then we can go to that folder, which is here, and it's, as you see, I've tried a couple of these runs before. It should be this one. So this is the output we got, and this could vary a little bit. And again, if you want something else, or if you want it different, this is things you can talk to ChatGPT with. So what makes sense, for example, is just to copy all of this, paste it into, and say, so this is what I got. This file looks good, or this file does not look good. So here we got hallmarks that were significant. So we see that all of them were negative. So all of them had a negative skew to them. And this is then normalized enrichment score. We get a list here of the different hallmarks with p-values, s-value, normalized enrichment score, the size, and then the leading edge, which is the genes that were responsible for this enrichment. So these are the ones that are. We get enrichment plots then. So here we can start seeing these. So you get, I showed you this before, right? But mitotic spindle here with the S value, FDR value, and size. And the size is how many genes there are. And you can see here is and then you can sort of go through these ones. So you see the MYC targets are really skewed to the side here. Almost all of them are up here. Yeah, and you also get the plots in the, yeah, so the way it's laid out here is a little bit random, but you just talk to ChatGPT about how you want to change it. Here you got the leading edge for DNA repair, and then you also have some more information. Yes, with that, I hope this gives ideas about how you can work with ChatGPT or again other chatbots. I'm sure they are equally good to do some programming, writing some code in this setup where you just essentially go back and forward with your code. You ask for something And then by experience, you start to understand what information is good to have in there. And then you go back and forward. And when it doesn't work, you just take one way of doing it, the most simple way is just take the full code that ended up with an error, paste it into ChatGPT, and hopefully after a while going back and forward works. Now I've been testing out this gene set enrichment before making this video, so I think ChatGPT remembered that a little bit, because I think in the beginning I probably had to have 2 or 3 back and forward, and now it worked directly, but I made this error as you remember, so we could look at how to deal with errors. Anyway, that's it. I hope you learned something. This is probably the last video, at least of these original set of videos in this series. Please make any suggestions or comments in the videos if there's any other tools or any other things you want me to make videos about. And I hope you learned something here, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. So, bye.